Hey guys, it's Zili. I was looking around for a side game to play along with Epic 7 and I came across this game, GateSix. It's kind of like Epic 7. You get units, you put them in a grid and it's turn based. No chibi sprites, which is one of my gripes. For 3D graphics, I kind of have higher requirements than say good 2D graphics. Like a lot of games I played, the 3D graphics seemed really blocky and the textures were really low resolution. But this game actually has some really good looking characters, which is a huge plus for me. The story is about a guy that was paralyzed from the neck down, and he signed up to a corporation for some sort of experiment. And the experiment was to upload his brain into some virtual network and then re-download his consciousness into a robotic body. And from my understanding, somewhere along the line he died during the upload, so now he's stuck in this virtual world. And our mission is now to go to El Dorado, which is the network that this company created where all the brains have access to the robotic bodies, and he wants to go back to the real world. This girl here was a part of the company, and she saw how many people were dying during this experiment and she abandoned them. Tried to help any lost soul that got stuck in this virtual world, and Rex here, this guy, he's the only one that managed to survive so far. So the story is actually really interesting. It is a gacha game where you have summons and you need to use premium currency to summon. The game's been out for about 3 weeks, so they're slowly updating the game with new characters. This is our most recent one, and there is a 10 summon, so this isn't like Epic 7 where you only get one summon at a time. And you can get little cubes by playing the game that gives you free summons. And if you don't get anything, there is a mileage shop. Let's go. Here we go. So for 29,000 points, I'm at 750. You get a 4-star unit, and 4 stars in this game is the equivalent to a 5-star in other games. And then you just go down in the list from there. So a 2-star would be like your 3-star in other games and so on. When you start the game, you get a select summon from a pool of heroes. It's a guaranteed 4-star. I picked our little waifu here, Leona. She's actually really good at dealing a lot of damage. And her class is something called a rush class, which is a balance between offense and defense. So she doesn't do crazy amounts of damage, but she isn't super squishy either. And they give you some characters throughout the story. Like this guy, he was an enemy. He's actually a really funny hero, and he uses a ring pop as a weapon. You can see it right there. Here we go. They give you this girl here. She's got like a little floating robot, and then they give you a lolly with an M4. She's actually one of my favorite characters. She plays an important part in the story in the beginning. I don't want to spoil it, but you guys have to try it out. At least the first 3 chapters. It's really good. And here is Hella. She's the scientist that helps you out. She's a support unit, so she heals you and stuff. And then here's the main character, Rex. There are games out there that give you free units, and those free units are really bad. So far, from what I read in the wiki, a lot of people say that all the heroes you get in the game are really viable. They just take a lot of investment to get to 6-star. Yes, there's a 6-star. After a 6-star, you have to do something called overclocking, which you have to have when you max out your 6-star, you level up, and then you need dupes to overclock the unit. And I'm not exactly sure what overclocking does. I just know that if you have a dupe of a hero that you want, keep it. You're gonna need it at some point, and getting dupes is kind of hard to get because you get a lot of 2-stars in your summoning, which is not really the best, and it takes a lot of investment. I'm not too sure if some of them are even worth building, but you definitely need 3-stars. And the rates for 3-stars and up are as follows. So here, 3-star unit is about 7.8%, and 2-star units are 90%, and 4 stars are at 2.2%. So the summoning rates are a little bit better than other gachas, but these 2-stars, most of them are just crap. So you have a 90% chance of pulling crap. I mean, it's kind of demoralizing when you get so many 2-stars when you pull. Like I pulled 10 summon so far, and I only got a 3-star. The rest were just 2-stars. So keep that in mind when you're summoning. keep your units. There are your standard like arena, PvP, and in PvP here, you don't actually pick your enemies. You just click ranked match and they basically assign you somebody randomly, so you can't really build your team against a specific team or for a specific team. So what everyone ends up doing is just stacking all their damage characters. So that's a little bit of arena. I played maybe 5 matches. I got picked with level 30 accounts that had like level 50 heroes and they kept destroying me, so I don't know how the ranking works in this game. The backdoor supply area is basically like your day-to-day dungeons that open up. So today we have EXP dungeons, which drop these little, I don't know, cat things that give you XP. And here's a gold dungeon I'm gonna have to do later today. And every time you clear a level or a phase for the first time, you get these first clear rewards. And these star cats or robots, whatever you want to call them, they're used to upgrade your units. And to upgrade a unit, you have to get their level to max and their affinity to max. So this is kind of like similar to the Spirit Altar in Epic 7, except you don't need to have different grades. Like you don't need epic or advanced or superior or anything like that. You just collect a material. The higher you go in the dungeon, the more materials you get. So the more you progress in the game, the faster it is to progress other heroes, which is what you're gonna need to level up your fodder. And when you rank up, you use those, say for example, I had 4 4-star cats. I'd use up the 4-star cats and it would reset my level and my affinity back to level 1 as well. So I'd have to re-level them up to max again to rank them up again. But from my experience, a level 1 4-star is stronger than a max level 3-star. So it's always worth it to upgrade even if you don't have any fodder to level up your heroes with. And what else do we got? Secret stage gives you some materials so you can build cores, and cores are the gear in this game. So here is what the menu looks like. Something that's going to be really frustrating in the future will be this. So after level 4 on your core, when you upgrade it, you have a chance of breaking the core. Upgrade may fail in this level range. See, and I have a 60% chance of upgrade success from level 4 to level 5, and up to level 4 it's free. You don't have a chance of breaking, and it's just gonna get worse from then on. So now imagine you have a core with a good attack roll and a good speed roll, and you want to get it to like plus 10 or whatever, and from plus 9 to plus 10 it breaks. I don't know. That's gonna need to be changed, or at least like an option to add more resources to increase your chance of success. They need to think of something, because grinding out the cores, it will take a lot of resources. Like here for example, this is the green unit, right? You have green, blue, red, and purple, and Epic 7's greens are really bad, right? They're just standard fodder. Let me go to craft real quick. This is how much it costs to build one green piece of equipment. It's 100 light core panels, and you get about 10 light core panels per run of secret stage. So just do the math. It's gonna take you a long time just to get a full set, and then if you want to upgrade, it's gonna cost you so much to just replace whatever breaks. So that's a big negative for me, and I don't know if they're planning on changing that or reducing the penalty. I'm not sure, but I'm not touching upgrades until like blue or purple at the very least. So right now I'm just focusing on building all my core sets for everybody. So I already completed Leona's, and I have this set, the Courage set, and when you get a full set, it gives you a 20% chance of dealing an extra 80% damage on the attack and lowers target's defense by 10% for 2 turns. So it's cheap to make, and if you have your whole team running this, you can do a lot of damage to take units out. But there's also another set like this, for instance, Fortitude set. I don't have a piece on me, but basically the full set allows your character to become unkillable once its health goes down to 50%. For 2 turns, they're unkillable, and they get 30% increase in all stats, which is crazy for PvP, because PvP doesn't last longer than like 2 or 3 turns anyway. I'm considering building them, but they're much more expensive to build than these green sets here. And it gets even more expensive as you build these guys up. That's here. Okay, so moving on. But you guys are asking, how's the combat like? The combat's a little bit unique. They have this grid system here. So they try to change up the PvE in this game, so you can walk around this grid here, and as you complete a hex you get a bonus, and there are like little side things that you can go to pick up. So this is going to be like some sort of NPC that I'm going to talk to, and we're going to walk to it. Okay, and it's a oak barrel, right? So you have a 100% chance of healing your HP by 25%, and then you have a 35% chance to acquire a negative condition. And negative conditions are permanent until you activate healing on them, which costs these data resources here. And if you have a positive condition, the positive condition lasts a whole day. So the more you stack, the better you will be at PvP. Yes, they work in PvP, and they're not really game breaking. It's like HP increases by 1% or attack increases by 1%, but you can stack 10 of each, and you have 4 slots. So if you're really lucky, you can get like attack boost, HP boost, and defense boost, go into PvP at the end of the day, and you have that bonus. So that helps a lot. But also, if you don't participate in PvE, you're pretty much at a disadvantage to those who do. So it's really just a neutral thing for me. Like, it's a great addition, but it's not game breaking, and you're gonna have to spend a lot of time stacking 10 buffs. So it's not the end of the world. Not a lot of people would do it, but it's possible if you wanted to. So I'm not touching that, it's not worth it. And then after a certain time, you get something called a chaser. These guys are really strong enemies that follow you throughout the map, and they initiate fights. And when someone initiates fights on you, they have a first attack advantage. And when you initiate a fight, you have a first attack advantage. I'm not sure if that's 100% true. I think they just give you like 50 or 60 speed for all your characters, so you have the first turn. But if the enemy is still faster than you, they'll go first. So even if you get caught and you have a fast team, I think you still have a chance of going first. I'm not too sure, but I think that's exactly what happens. So we're gonna go to this drop here, and we got what is this? Oh, they caught us. Okay, so start battle. See, they're going first now. Okay, so the combat system here is a little bit of a reverse. So in Epic 7, you have all your abilities available to you at the beginning of the match, and they all have cooldowns, right? In this game, you start out with skill points, and I think you get 3 skill points every turn, or 4 skill points every turn, depending on your stats and abilities. But the base is 3 every turn, and then you use up 2 every turn for the most like basic ability. And you have some heroes that give you more skill points, so it's kind of like cooldown reduction. I don't know, it's different, but it's also similar. It's just you gotta think more long term instead of just cooldowns, blow every cooldown, right? Okay, so in this game you have a similar element system, except light has an advantage to dark, and dark has an advantage to all the RGB. And then you have your standard, like, grass does more damage to water, and water does more damage to fire kind of circle. And this character here is grass, so I'm not going to have too much of an advantage against these enemies here. But let's go with rapid fire. Damage does 125 to 130%. And then dissolved, I'm not exactly sure what that means. But let's attack this tree here. Okay. This one is just a damage ability for the healer. And let's go kill this one tree here. Alright, quick attack. And it's down. Reckless charge, just some damage. And then Mr. Fatty over here with his ring pop. Oh. Yeah, see, you do get 3, so now I'm at 6 points. And then you can use your ultimate at 8 points, so 2 more turns, or you can do something called Designate Target, which decreases their range damage, evasion, and increases range damage up. So if you have a team of rangers in the back line, she's really good for that. But in this case, it would be the healer as well. And then she buffs her own attack by 15%, which is pretty cool. But let's just do some damage. Alright, what's her ultimate? Damage. Turn gauge down. Okay, I'll save that ulti for later. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that was actually pretty cool, and that's a good system they have here. So some characters can do airborne, which launches the enemy up in the air, and then if you have characters that could follow up, they do something called chain attacks or link attacks, and they basically apply damage and debuffs while the enemy's in the air. So it's actually a really cool system. So Leona here would launch the enemy, these two would shoot at them, and then this guy would like body slam them down, and it knocks them down, and the knockdown debuff basically won't let the enemy dodge or block. So now would be a good time to finish him off with like an ultimate, because he won't be able to dodge it. So it gives like a new dynamic in PvP. You can have an opener with a knockdown effect, or you can do like a chain link thing. There's so many different strategies. It's gonna be a very in-depth and detailed like strategy that you're gonna have to think about. I think it's really interesting. It's a breath of fresh air for somebody that really likes turn-based RPGs like me, so you can like plan out your team and strategize in that way, and it brings like a whole new dynamic to the game. I really like that system. So in this case, I'm gonna do uppercut. He's gonna airborne the person again, and then they're gonna all follow up as well, or the enemy just dies anyway. Alright, let's go initiate this chaser. Oh, never mind. Alright, and for auto, you can speed up the combat. So this is what it looks like when you auto. And also to add to the auto combat, say for example you're doing one of your like essence dungeons and you can do like 6 runs. You don't have to do each run individually. You could set 6 runs, let it do its auto thing, and then come back later, and it'll have everything complete for you. It's actually a really cool system. I wish Epic 7 would learn from it. And you have different options that you could set during an auto feature, like if a character gets to max level, so you can grind your fodder without actually resetting the settings or resetting the stage every time it's completed. It'll just auto end, and like it'll vibrate or send you a message saying that it's complete once that fodder's reached max level. And you could set the specific amount of times you want to auto a dungeon or a level. It's actually a really friendly system that they have here, and I wish Epic 7 would learn from them and add something similar. It really helps a lot. You don't have to be by your phone or by the game. You just set it to auto and come back like in 10 minutes and everything is done. And then you move on to the next thing or whatever else you have planned for the day. Yeah, see, now it's my turn to first strike. So this is my first impression of GateSix, and so far I think it's really interesting, and I'd recommend everyone to give it a shot at least. It's free, and you might like it too. If you're looking for a cyberpunky 3D version of, say, Epic 7, then this might be the ticket for you. And that's all I have for today, so see you guys in the next one. Peace.